Today is an unusual series. In it, you'll learn the true essence of Mikima, see bloody battles with an unexpected outcome, and see the true power of the demon hunters. Enjoy the show. No matter how hard Himena tried, no matter how much strength she gave to her ghost, he almost destroyed the man of the sword. But he was thwarted. He was thwarted by the serpent, the demon of this strange girl. Who was she? This serpent simply appeared out of nowhere, like the fox Aki, and devoured the ghost of Himena. Along with him, the girl disappeared. Power ran away, Aki was desperate, and Denji was lying half dead. Still, there was some use for Himena's sacrifice. Part of the ghost, namely the hand, came up to Denji and started him, pulling the cord from his chest. At the same moment the guy woke up from his dream and reincarnated into a chainsaw man. He saw everything that had happened while he was passed out and was shocked by it. Shocked and very angry. He owes it to himself to avenge his friends. Enough sleep. It's time for action. Finally a worthy opponent. Let the great battle begin. With incredible speed and strength, Denji swooped down on this man of the sword. Now they were on equal footing. They began to fight. Denji was throwing back at his opponent, throwing him, but he was no slouch either and gave back. The fight was so intense that the walls in the radius of the battle shattered into small pieces, creating puffs of construction dust. It allowed hiding in the enemy's blind spots, but not for long. Aki blamed himself for his helplessness, but Denji must make it through. For the sake of them all. Who will win the battle? Ignore, Sword Man. Like and subscribe, Chainsaw Man. The Sword Man realized that he was failing, that this battle had gone on for too long. So he broke even and called upon his allies. They were just a couple of ordinary men, but they had firearms. Could it be that they had been sent by the firearm demon himself? What if he found out about Mikima's plans, and realized what they were up to? Does that mean that Denji is strong enough to destroy the strongest demon in this world? That gave confidence in the guy's strength. The men shot the chainsaw, but he didn't care for these minor wounds. He quickly got rid of this petty problem and took one of the men hostage. He attempted to arouse pity for the man of the sword, for these are his allies and he cannot expend them so easily. The main mistake in this situation was to judge by himself. Perhaps Denji had become too human and kind. But do not forget that in front of him now stands an unusual man or a simple half-demon, but a real villain, who most likely dreams of destroying the whole world. Therefore, without looking at either the hostage or his help, the man of the sword, in one swift, sharp jerk, slices Denji along with the man. How is that possible? He knocked the guy out again. His main target was the chainsaw heart, which he had to provide to the gunman. So what happens on the train where the hunter's boss was riding? And she was murdered. Shot along with her ward. And what, so easily with the help of some guns, a handful of people managed to destroy an entire special department of demon hunters. The girl was to be met at the train station by her colleagues from Kyoto. They were waiting for her, but couldn't believe that she could die so easily. Of course not, it was Mikima. It would have been too easy to kill her like that. When everyone was sure she was dead, she rose up and destroyed the bandits. And before that, she gave them a good scare. And now, as if nothing had happened. Except with a little blood on her, and not her own. Mikima walked out of the train, safe and sound. Colleagues, they were twins, let's call them that, told the girl that there had also been an attack on a special department in Tokyo. And there are already a lot of dead people there. Unfortunately, not everyone can escape death the way Mikima did. After listening to the brief report, the girl was very determined. She knew who the culprit of all these events was and she could not lose to him. Much less could she forgive him for the deaths of his men. Her colleagues suggested that she travel urgently to Tokyo to support the others. She was, of course, glad for such zeal in helping, but she had a slightly different plan. The girl demanded a temple and a dozen prisoners for life. Odd, of course, the wish, but it's an order. So it must be obeyed. Immediately she was led to the temple site on the high mountain. and several prisoners were taken out of the prisons for life sentences, all just as she had requested. No one understood what she was trying to accomplish, but everyone trusted her. In the meantime, the villain's allies were already loading Denji into their car to take her to an unknown destination. Suddenly a suspicious raven flew in, but basically nobody paid much attention to it. And for nothing. At the same moment, several people became very ill. This condition quickly led to their deaths. A horrible death. Something unknown simply tore them to pieces, leaving them only a wet spot. From such a spectacle even this mysterious girl was shocked. But she knew who was behind it. She knew very well that it was Mikima's doing. She was the only one with a power so powerful. But how did she manage it? What was the secret? At the same time, there were many people gathered outside the temple in Kyoto. Mikima herself, her colleagues, and the prisoners were there. All except the boss were blindfolded, at her request. She began to put her cruel plan into action. With her demon power she approached one of the former prisoners. She would show some strange symbols with her hands, asking for a name. Then the person would die, and with him the one whose name had been called died. We already know how the death happened. The villain became very badly hurt, twisted, and torn into small pieces. Panic reigned among the opponents, no one wanted to take part in it anymore. Everyone was very scared. Few people want to die like that. After all the opponents whose names Mikima knew had been destroyed, she calmed down and asked to remove the blindfolds from the eyes of her two colleagues. When they removed them, they were shocked by what they saw. All the prisoners were dead. But the name of the girl and the sword man Mikima did not know, so they remained alive. Their target was still Denji's heart, so they had to stick him in the car and take him away as soon as possible. But then at the most responsible moment, a cowardly girl appears. Very unexpectedly, she was able to survive thanks to her partner, who shielded her and sacrificed himself to keep her alive. Shocked by this, she was ready for revenge. As she attacked her opponents, she surprised them greatly. With deft movements she quickly bridged the distance between them and wounded the sword man. Such an assertive attack they certainly did not expect, so they had to retreat. Thus, the cowardly girl who was just recently ready to kill Denji, in order to survive, saved him, risking her own life in the process. In Kyoto, one of the survivors from Tokyo reported the situation to Mikima and immediately quit. It was now too frightening to be in the service of government agencies. Almost all the members of the Special Department of Demon Hunters had been eliminated. Most of them had been shot with firearms.